And we are live. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakosi Football Club. And today we're continuing with the series, which we've made a series now, of talking about these coaches who are linked with Kaizer Chiefs. We're looking at who the coaches are, and we're looking at where they've been, what they've achieved, and the possibilities of them actually joining Kaizer Chiefs. Disclaimer, once again, this is not saying Kaizer Chiefs wants this coach. These are coaches who are linked with Kaizer Chiefs. What we are doing right now, since there are no games and there are no games to talk about, we're looking at all of these things. So don't come at me and say, hey, when I'm Pilo, you are lying, because I never said they're coming to Chiefs. So as you are joining in, please do make sure to like the video. Yesterday's video got to 1,000 likes within 5 hours. So can we get 2,000 likes today? Because we get a lot of views, but not enough likes. So let's like the video. And as you are joining in, also make sure that you say where you are watching from. So if you are watching from Bloemfontein, say I'm watching from Bloemfontein. And the people who are watching from Bloemfontein, go to that comment, I'm also from Bloemfontein, or just say, hey Mpilo, I'm also watching from Bloemfontein, blah, blah, blah. So that we'll see which city will have more people who are watching. So, yeah. All right. So we are talking about the two coaches today. This is the first guy. His name is Rui Vitória. And this other guy, his name is called Jose Peseiro. Peseiro. There's so many Joses in coaching, right? Jose Mourinho, Jose Rivero, Jose Santos, Jose this, Jose that. There's just a lot of Joses. But we are not talking about Joses and them being a lot. Umalwandla, who is watching from UK, Football Paul Highlights is watching from Bloom, Pompenya is watching from Lufereng, Soweto. I didn't know there was such a place in Soweto. And then Uliach is saying Exer Rutmane. Aubokamuso Letwal is watching from Cape Town. And a lot of people are joining in. Ukalam is saying Mpilo Mtagwetu kunjani. Goodwood, Cape Town is where I am. Ubandile is watching from Newcastle Matateni. Undumeso is watching from Ingwavuma. Ukib is watching from Rodeport. And Ustelo is watching from Emondlo. Mkaya kahle kahle. And last but not least, Umfundo, who's watching from Cape Town. All right, let's get to the video now. We are going to start by talking about Umchitalo Upesero. And by the way, if you are not convinced about liking the video, let me show you something. I want to show you something, a secret. Do you see this? This is a document, an entire document of the research for this video. So there was a lot of checking what the coaches have done and all of that stuff. So yeah, if you are thinking about not liking them, look at this and then see that there was a lot of research that was done to come up with the video. Anyways, we move. Let's start by talking about Jose Peseiro, right? So not Jose Peseiro, rather. Yes, Jose Peseiro, starting with him. So we need to know, obviously, if you are going to coach Kaizer Chiefs, what is it that you've done that makes you even linked with Kaizer Chiefs? His recent thing, I wonder, can you see this guy? You see here, the orange thing behind him is the technical area, which is him coaching Nigeria in the 2023 AFCON, and he reached the final there. He beat Bafana Bafana in the semi-finals, and then he lost to Ivory Coast in that final. And they obviously lost, but one thing that happened with him, he took over in 2022 and his contract was running until March 2024. And the main thing about him is that if you watch the game against South Africa, he looked more attacking. Of course, you have more players, but he's known for being a pragmatic coach. And if you are known for being a pragmatic coach, that basically means you are defensive, right? Because if you look at how he used to play as well, you look at that game against Bafana, not this recent one, in the AFCON, he's playing three center backs, and you're like, huh. But he was winning, right? He was winning, and this was the first final that Nigeria had reached since 2020, since 2013. So it meant a lot. However, as I said, playing three defenders, which means it changes to a back five, it made Nigerian journalists question him and like, this guy is not that great. So that is the thing. But he finished AFCON as a runners-up. But then, as a result, there was the problem. And he started the qualifiers for the World Cup. We see the guy who's currently coaching right now. He drew with Lesotho at home. He drew against Zimbabwe. And then this is where things went from bad to worse. And then friendlies, this thing of him playing three center backs, and people thought he was more tactically rigid. He wasn't really, playing fluid football with the players that Nigeria have. So then they were like, nah, man, you are not going to stay here. So when his contract expired in March 2024, they let him go because, it wasn't that great. And then he went to Zamalek right after this, and he signed with Zamalek this year, February 2025. And in Zamalek, Zamalek, Al Ahly, those are the two biggest teams. And he had signed an 18-month contract, but he got fired in May. If you calculate very well, that's less than 3 months after being signed with the Zamalek. So 3 months at Zamalek, and then he's gone. And the reason, it was mutual consent. If it's mutual consent, the person has been fired because he was not performing very well. So that was a problem. And actually, funny enough, he had coached Egypt before this. In Egypt, not Egypt. He had coached in Egypt before this because he coached Al Ahly from 2015 to 2016. And, it tells you, if you're coaching Al Ahly, if you are lucky if you last stay here, because those ones in North Africa are not really patient. Let's like the video. We have over 200 people watching, but we only have 68 likes. Let's like the video. Thank you very much. So we are still talking about him, Jose Peseiro, right? So he also got fired in Al Ahly because they were not happy that much. So he's not really done much that has been great, except taking Nigeria, a very good Nigeria with Abu Osimhen, Abu Ademola Lookman, to the finals and not winning them. Next thing is that if you look at the teams that he's managed, he has Porto, FC Porto, he has Sporting in his thingy, and in 2005 he actually reached the UEFA Cup final, which again, that's good. The only issue is he reached it, but he did not win it. Again, just like the AFCON, he reached the final, but he didn't win it. Same thing with the UEFA in 2025. He reached the UEFA Cup final, but he didn't win it. He also coached Saudi Arabia. He coached Venezuela. And he moves around a lot. European clubs, African clubs, as I said. Saudi, that's Asia. Europe, Sporting. And then Middle East is Saudi Vele. Asia because it's Asia. And in South America as well, he's been there. But the problem is he just doesn't stay that long in teams because that's problematic. Which brings us to this guy, Urui Vitória. Even yesterday, I started with the bad news and I went to the good news. So even now, I'm about to talk about a coach who is in a situation that is a bit better than that of the previous coach. So let's dive deep and start talking about him. So he took the job of what's his thing? He went to coach in Egypt, right? Because that seems to be the thing now. So he coached the Egypt national team in 2022, and he coached 18 matches. A team that has Salah, by the way. Coached 18 matches, won 12, drew 5, lost 1, which is not bad, considering that some coaches looked bad. But you remember what happened in 2023 in the AFCON. You remember that Egypt that was in the 2023 AFCON. It just wasn't. We expected that a team that has Salah is going to come out. I actually hated the coach. I'm not going to lie. In 2023, I hated him. And at that time, I didn't even know him. But I just hated watching the AFCON 2023 because I was like, what nonsense is this? Why are you not getting the best out of Salah? Right? Because they drew 4 times. They didn't win a single match. They drew in the group stage. Then another draw in the round of 16. It just sucked. And then they ended up being eliminated in penalties. You have Salah, you had the other players. I forgot who was this guy. Who was very good, who was playing for Aston Villa at that time. He couldn't get the best out of them. And he was criticized. And in February 2024, he was fired, of course. So status, the 12 wins, the 12 wins with Egypt, right? He had the 12 wins, the 5 draws, 4 of those draws coming in from the AFCON. And we don't count the loss in AFCON as a loss because it was a draw in 90 minutes and then after extra time they lost. So it's technically a draw. So yeah, the next thing, Benfica. So he also coached Benfica because once again, Umchita, where is he from? He is also Urue Vitória. He's also Portuguese. So here's what happened in Benfica. He spent 3.5 years at the job, right? And he won 7 major trophies. Benfica, do you understand? The team that is currently being coached by Jose Mourinho, right? And this is before the Egypt job. 2015 to 2016, 2016 to 2017, that season, he won the league, right? And he was just becoming the best in Benfica, playing in League Portugal. Like, imagine. That was very good. And the good thing about him that is noted is the fact that very attacking. And I don't know what happened with Egypt. That is why I always look at his success, like 7 major trophies in Benfica. Yet somehow he struggled with Egypt. I just don't know whether it's because international football is different. National team football is different from the league football because you have more time to work with the players, and that's also that. And also after winning, he had won with Vitória Kumnaresh from the lower division as well, and that was a huge thing with them. Uguti, they also won a cup with him. And then he also coached Al Nassr, right? He also won title with the Saudi Pro League in 2018-2019 season. And he also went and coached Panathinaikos in Greece in 2024, but then he got fired in September. So he was hired in 2024 and then fired in September 2025. And he only coached 2 league games, and there was 1 draw and 1 loss. But here's the most important thing about him. When he was in Greece, he was fired after playing only 2 games. 1 draw, 1 loss. I'm going to say it again. He was fired from Panathinaikos after playing 2 games. He drew 1 game, he lost 1 game. He got fired. But reports suggested that he wasn't fired for the poor performance or the poor start to the season. But the thing is that the team allowed key players to leave without proper replacements. The club did not support his vision, and as a result, since September 15, 2025, he's a free agent. Now, you might think this is good for the Chiefs, but it's actually terrible for the Chiefs because the thing with Tabang is asking where am I getting all the information. I research, my brother. I do a lot of research. In case you are joining right now, I'm just gonna show you this. This is literally a document that I am now, like, I compiled. preparing for this video. So I do a lot of research for videos. I don't just wake up and start talking on camera. But this is the thing that I looked at and was like, yo, Bandila, I haven't found any local coaches linked with the Chiefs. This is the biggest thing that I fear with Vitória, right? Because the fact that he left a team because they were not supporting his vision, it makes me go, no, it's not going to happen. Because the team that we support are guys who have over 700 views, but who only have 126 likes. Let's get more likes as a belief. This makes me say he is a coach who will leave if he doesn't like what is being served. And it's the same thing that happened with Nabi. He left because he did not get what he wanted. You get me? So that is now a thing that makes me say he had a very good spell with Benfica. He has coached in Saudi, won a league there, won a league with Benfica. But the issue is he will clash with the management. And whenever you can clash with the management, or even if it's not about clashing with management, but if you're an independent person, then you're going to have a problem. So these two coaches again that we talked about today, let's just give you a summary. Rui Vitória, right? Very good coach, titles with Benfica, 2 titles, league titles with Benfica, and 7 major trophies in total, which means the other 5 cups, and also one with a smaller team winning another cup in Portugal. And then you have Jose Peseiro, who recently coached Nigeria and led them to the finals of the AFCON and struggled at Zamalek, struggled at Al Ahly. I think that we can look at them, but I don't think either of these two guys will be able to talk about them coming to Kaizer Chiefs. I think it's other 2 coaches that we can just say they are linked with Kaizer Chiefs. Yeah, we see that. But are they going to come to Kaizer Chiefs? No, they won't. It's very rare. Let me read other comments. Olampilo Mfethu, I'm watching all the way from Fort Airport or Airport Follow Mfethu. Umpho Mfeng is saying any updates on the signed players who haven't played this season? No, there's nothing, Kosi. Ulubisi saying, good evening, Kosi Nation. Vibe Motion is saying, watching from Vuzebuhle. Bengithi it says Venezuela. Wake Up is saying, let's make peace with the fact that Chiefs won't be able to get a good coach because they don't like spending. Plus, a good coach needs quality players. That is true. Nat is watching from Durban. Ufumani is watching in Pinoni. I'm watching from Namandeni Gushuzakele. And Utaban is asking where I get all the information. I research. Like the video, guys. Yes, please like the video. So, we are left with 4 coaches, which means it's tomorrow and Saturday we'll be covering the last 4 coaches who are linked with the Kaizer Chiefs. And yeah, I will make a playlist in the end so that people can go and view those videos. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoya. And the stream blood.